City Royals franchise, the Jake and Hagen vote. So, as promised, I've been cranking out these episodes. Basically, been just living down here playing video games. So anyway, we are into year 2 right now. As you see, my GM rating has actually bumped up to a B, and it's only going higher. Hopefully, that's the goal. Hitting a lot more of the performance goals, as you see there. Um, the biggest ones though that you really want to try and hit are these league leaders, as well as the team performance. Those really boost up your rating. It only helps you, after your contract is expired, whether you want to get re-signed or go to a better club. So anyway, like I said, year 2, you're probably going to be mad, but we are actually at the All-Star break. We are sitting 55 and 41, second in the AL Central, behind a game behind the Indians. Still with our 20 plus 22 ranking, which is a little kind of off to me. I feel like if you just look at our stats right there, all our splits. I mean, our pitching, second best in the AL Central. Um, our fielding is right there. It looks like it's what, third. Um, our average second. Slugging might be first. It is first, and our on base percentage is second. So we're a pretty good team. We've been a little streaky, honestly, to start out the year. You guys saw a little bit of it, but let's go all the way back to the beginning here. So we were very streaky. I mean, there was really no runs, and then towards the end of April, things kind of started clicking. We started winning a lot more than we lose or we lost. So I mean, that's the recipe for success right there. Win more than you lose. And then in June, we kind of hit a nice little run of a couple weeks where we were just almost winning every single game. At the end of June, we started struggling a little bit, but kind of came back for a strong finish into the All-Star break. But being at the All-Star break, I'm really thinking I'm going to start making some moves. I don't think it's really going to be anything major. Um, Everyone has honestly played pretty well. Abraham Almonte really kind of carried us when we were going on those huge runs. His OPS was flirting with like 900, 950, as well as Travis Jankowski. He's been a big pickup. Started off as our leadoff guy, and eventually I just slid him down to the 3-hole. Jake Lamb started off slow, but he's really kind of kicked it around and got things going. Whit Merrifield has kind of been what I wanted him to be and kind of one of the biggest pillars on the team. Marlon Gonzalez has also played pretty well, 839 OPS. But the biggest thing has been Salvador Perez, I think. His average really wasn't that great. He was hitting like 210 to 220, but he was hitting for power. And then now the average is starting to come around with a 835 OPS. He's having his best season yet, by far. I checked him like 2 weeks ago, and his WAR was the highest it ever was. So he's definitely in for a career year. Even if he went out with an injury, he'd have a career year right now. So it's kind of nice because the Royals got him locked up a couple years ago to a fairly team-friendly deal. So we don't really have to worry about trying to, pick him back up, and he's going to want way too much money. I mean, as you see, he's making 8-1, and he wants 23.5. So we really scored there. But anyway, we're going to the All-Star break right now. Biggest areas of concern, I've done a lot of swapping. I just brought up Compost. Aaron Blair went down. He was really struggling to start off the year. Pulled up Michael Yona. He was really struggling. So, I mean, it was kind of tough. Matt Moore has really hung in there. He hasn't pitched great, but he's done good enough. A 500 win percentage. So fielding and independent pitching is 476. I mean, for a fifth guy, it's okay. He's got the job done, I guess. But we always want better. The bullpen hasn't. I wouldn't call it a disaster. At the beginning of the year, it was really tough. No one was really pitching well out of the bullpen. Maurer has been pretty steady though, as you see by his numbers. 30 saves already, with 2 blown saves on the year. But we brought over Iglesias. I think that was, when I made that move, I really wanted it to obviously pan out. But I thought he was going to be, the rock in the bullpen for the next couple of years. And he's struggled. I think part of it is coming to the American League, um, with a 430 basically for a fielding and independent pitching. Michael Givens has been pretty lights out, as well as Manis. I brought up Altavilla, and he's done pretty well. I acquired him and Iglesias in the same package from the Mariners. Hector Neris, before I get to him, Richard Blyer, I mean, he's pitched pretty well. He's a really kind of a soft tossing lefty, so he kind of will get knocked around sometimes. He had a couple outings recently where his ERA just kind of skyrocketed, but he's pitched pretty well. Hector Neris has kind of been the biggest question mark. He just really hasn't gotten it going at all. I've been waiting for him to get it going, and he just never seems to get it going. I've really just left him up because his fielding and independent pitching numbers. That right there, 415 is a little higher. Before it was about 350 or so, which usually that means things are probably going to start turning around, but that was just kind of a missed call. So like I said, I mean, he's a big question mark. We got to figure out what to do with him. Danny Duffy really had a kind of a struggled, at the very beginning of the year. He's turned it around the last couple starts, but he was flirting with like a 5 for an ERA. But Jake Junis has definitely been, the solidified, guy in the rotation where we're going to show up and he's going to win. But on top of that, he's had some help from Nate Carnes. Nate Carnes has been absolutely unreal this year. His past 2 starts, he got roughed up a little bit, but he had like a 2.05 for an ERA. So, I mean, he was pitching extremely well up until his last couple starts. But hopefully, he can have a steady second half and not really blow up too much. So, in terms of some of the moves I want to make, I've looked up already, just some potential moves, and I think I have some I want to, go after. But the biggest thing is kind of bolstering the rotation. If I really want to make a run, I can't have a guy like Matt Moore in there where you never know if you're going to win or lose, and it's 50-50. He's pitched well for us, so I think he's increased his value a little bit. So hopefully, we can kind of get someone to, buy on him. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing really glaring that I really need to make a move. Brendan Rodgers has played pretty well down in AAA. So I think the last time I looked, he was up to the 2 spot. Oh, he's actually at the 3rd spot now. So he started the year out at 8. Now he's up to 3, which is pretty good. We got a couple more prospects in the top 50. Tommy Bush drafted him last year. We're actually going to go touch on the draft after I get done with this, by the way. There was a couple other guys. I guess they dropped out. Jorge Lopez. There was someone else. One of the other second basemen I drafted I thought was in there, unless I missed them. Tommy Bush. I guess the other guy dropped out. So here's our draft and our prospects or our picks. We honestly did have a very good draft. They keep basically feeding me second baseman. So there was a lot of good second basemen I could have picked, but I really wanted to try and get some guys at third, get some relief help, and the last 2 guys they were just kind of random guys that I picked based on our needs. Mac Tabata, 21-year-old, 75 overall with a B potential and 83 potential, so he'll probably crack the big leagues here pretty soon. Just giving us some more depth in the infield. Kind of a bigger bodied guy. Might even slide over to third, to be honest with you. But on top of that, we did pick up Robbie Rozier, 21-year-old out of Massachusetts, as a third baseman. He's a little bit more of a project. Obviously with the 85 potential, that's nice, but he's got a 53 overall and he's already 21. So I mean, there's at least 5 years right there he's got to develop. So it'll be a tough call on what to do with him. We also picked up Emerson Toivin. I don't know if that's how you say it. As a closer, I think we're honestly going to slide him over into just a bullpen, just a regular reliever. But he's definitely a guy who will probably develop here pretty quick and crack the big leagues pretty soon. Another third baseman, Robbie Jensick from California, 18-year-old, 50 overall at the moment with a 56 potential. So usually, I mean, those guys with 76 potentials, usually guys who are in the mid 70s, I try and just sign them just to hope that they progress and, crack an 80 or a B potential, and they can help us out at the big league level. We also picked up another closer, Ryan, left-hander. Very good hits per nine. So hopefully, again, he's probably just going to slide over into the bullpen as a relief pitcher and hopefully crack the big leagues pretty soon as well. He's already 23 years old. So by the time he's 25, 26, I'd like to have him up. Jerome Root and Alfonso Dorta, they might have been, nope, Illinois. So only one international player in the draft as a starter. Our last pick in the 6th round, 22-year-old right-hander, 78 potential, 46 overall. So he's going to be a bit of a project, as well as Jerome Root, bit of a project as well. Hopefully, we'll just like to see him progress a little bit. But yeah, I mean, let's get into some moves here. Try and really help our team out. Let's just get to the All-Star game. Looks like a couple guys got hurt here. We really haven't had that many injuries. I mean, knock on wood, to be honest with you this year. I mean, if you guys remember last year, we had so many guys out. So we need a reliever as well as a catcher at Double-A. Let's go take care of that right now. Cam Gallagher is going to get called up to Double-A. There we go. That's good. Go ahead and just slide. Let's go ahead and just slide Gallagher in there. What the hell? But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's really been nothing that I've been too disappointed about. I think we're playing better again than I thought we really would, which is always nice. So hopefully, we can keep it going through the second half here. So really in these moves, I really want to try and get another solid infielder. I don't know if Velika is really going to get it done for us. I mean, he's already 26. So, I mean, we're going to have to go and take a look at what we can get here. I had one deal that I really liked right here with the Orioles. I want to get Nito, however you say his name, Nunez, third baseman, A potential, 24 years old. I think this guy is probably going to slide into the role of our DH. Pretty good power numbers. I've had him before. He's having an okay year this year. He's a bit of an overbuy, if you ask me. It's a little bit of a risky move, but I think he's an overall better player than Bonifacio. Even though he's put up pretty good numbers in his career this year, he's having a little bit of a down year. We have a little bit more control on Nunez than we do as Bonifacio, and just giving Matt Moore, just basically to solidify the deal. So I think I'm really good on that deal. There's nothing really that is making me not want to make it. I could try and get a little bit more, possibly Colin McHugh as, bring him over as a starter. But we honestly do have a lot of depth now within our starting pitching. So I might just pick some random guy here. It might be Zach Lavorne. So I think we're going to go ahead and make this deal right here. Took on a little bit of money, but that is, that's okay. I'm okay with that. So we're going to go ahead and slide McHugh straight into the rotation here and give him a couple starts and see how he does. We're going to just slide him right into the 4 spot. We're also going to go ahead and just realign the rotation. Just by ratings, really nothing special there. Go ahead and adjust the bullpen. So I've been I'm always harping on you guys about making sure you're divvying up your innings in your bullpen. Drew Storen has been pitched very well for us, by the way, down in Double-A. But I've been letting Neris take up a lot of innings. I'm really trying to get his numbers, back to what he can do. So with Nunez coming over, Almonte is going to go back into the outfield, and we actually have a difficult decision there against lefties. But Nunez will go over and take up our DH spot. Also, a guy who's kind of been just low profile, isn't putting up monster numbers, but is having a pretty decent year is Jorge Soler. Not, like I said, not putting up huge numbers. I mean, he's only got 17 RBIs, and he's got 7 home runs. So, there's 10 RBIs, that he hasn't created himself by hitting the long ball. But his line is actually pretty good, with a 764 OPS. 362 on base percentage. I've been trying to figure out what to do with him. I just threw him in the 9 spot. But I think there's a way that I can probably lengthen the lineup a little bit more. I just have not figured it out yet. So it should be good there now. Couple other moves I wanted to make. Thought I saw some guys on the block here. Okay. So there was a move right here with Miguel Andujar from the Yankees. So I found this a couple weeks ago, and I've really been debating on it. Jake Lamb, he's 28 years old, and he's at 82 overall with the B potential. Andujar, right here, 24-year-old, B potential, 78 overall. We still have him under control for the next 5 years, whereas Lamb, I'm pretty sure we only got him for the next 2, and I'm probably just going to let him walk. He's a little bit, I don't know. This is a little bit of a risky move, I think. The whole thing about the Royals was trying to get a little bit younger, get some guys who are, can come in and be pillars, and it's very difficult to acquire those guys via trade. And it never really happens that much. But, Lamb he's okay. He's a little bit of just a slugger from the left side against right-handers. Doesn't really put up that great of numbers against lefties. I'm pretty sure in the AL Central, though, there's a lot of righties. So it kind of plays right into his hand. Andujar, a little bit more of a, better overall hitter against both righties and lefties. Not as good as in the field, not as great of an athlete, I'm pretty sure, as Lamb is. But it's definitely a move that is just interesting just based on the control and the age and what I think Andujar can be. So another guy I want to throw in there is Brandon Drury. A little bit cheaper, got him for the next 4 years under control. And I want to swap him with Velika. I think, Velika, I think he's a decent player. I think his numbers are a little bit of a trap when I acquired him. He had like an 850 OPS. But, can play really anywhere in the infield. Really good pinch hitter, as you see there with his quirks. But, not really a guy I think can be like an everyday come off the bench, type of guy that I really want. Obviously, Drury, same age, more control, like I've said, and just a little bit better of a player. So I think, to add him in actually, and we gotta give him a little bit more. So let's go take a look. They want a center fielder. I don't want to give up any of those guys. I'd be okay with giving up a right fielder just because we have so many. Possibly a left fielder. I don't want to give up Jankowski because he's been a rock for us. He's been very good. It wasn't Cuthbert. Who was it? Oh, it was Cuthbert and Bonifacio. That's what I offered them before. So we got to go and that's honestly an interesting deal right there. But I just don't know if I want to give up Prado. I'd be okay with giving up a catcher just because we got Perez and Walters. And I'd be okay with giving up a guy like Neres. Nope. Yep, they want them. Don't want to give up any of them, though. I'd be okay giving up Brian Flynn. I think that's what I'm probably going to do here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him Brian Flynn. Hasn't really got it going for us this year. I mean, he's only pitched 15 innings basically, so that's not really a very big sample size. It's a little smaller than I'd like. Um, but he's a big lefty. We only got him for the next 3 years, and he's a little bit more expensive, and I just don't want to have an expensive guy, especially as a small market team sitting down in the minor leagues. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this deal. We're gonna clear up, as you see there, a little over $3 million. So I'm gonna do that. We get a little bit younger, get some more guys who we can control for the next couple years. So there was a lot to like about the deal. There you see Andujar, and let's go check out Drury. So I don't know what's going on with the Royals with these socks. I mean, it's the stance socks, but I'm not about them. They just look too ugly, like that light blue. Um, So there we go. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this. I think Andujar is going to turn into a pretty good player for us. Like I said, I'm trying to just get as many young guys who are going to be just pillars for us as humanly possible. Um, he's not as maybe productive as Lamb was, but I think in the long run, that's what I'm thinking about here. He'll turn into a pretty good player. So I'm going to go ahead and swap him and Salvador Perez, move him up to the 4 spot, hopefully open up some more runs by doing that. So let's just check out the lineup here. So Profar is getting on base at a very high clip, not really slugging the ball that well with a 737 OPS. So he's going to be our leadoff guy. Really just high average, or not really a high average, but he's what you want in a leadoff hitter just because he gets on. Almonte isn't really getting on at that high of a clip. His average is a little bit down. I mean, 261 isn't terrible, but it's not what I'd like to see out of him. But he does have a 796 OPS, which is pretty good. And then Jankowski, 838, one of the better overall hitters on our team right now. Merrifield, possibly could swap him and Almonte. But I just don't know. I mean, Almonte is slugging the ball very well. I think Merrifield's got him beat, though, by a little bit. He does. Marwin Gonzalez. I mean, as you see, there's a lot of depth in the lineup. But the one thing I'm really trying to figure out what to do with is Jorge Soler. I'm just leaving him down in the 9-hole just because I think he's a good 9-hole hitter by his on-base percentage, and his slugging percentage really isn't all that great, but he could be, a pretty good 2-hitter for us, too. I think he spent most of his time last year there for us. But I'm thinking about it. I'm going to put him up at the 2-hole. Almonte in the 9 spot right now. So we got left, right, right. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as it is right now. Drury will probably get some good at-bats off the bench, a good amount. Goodwin hasn't really gotten it going this year for us. His OPS is under 700. So for the time being, he's just going to stay on the bench. I might mix him in here against righties as a DH, just give Nunez a little bit of a break. Looks like he's kind of cold right now. Go over to the left-handers lineup. Pretty much the same, it looks like, yeah. So I'm pretty content with that. Yeah, there we go. I'm happy. Okay, so there we go. That's really it. I don't think I really want. I don't know who I put on the trade block. Duffy. Let's see what we can get for Duffy. If we can swing someone, possibly like a Keuchel, I'd be happy. Um, 11.6. He's a little bit more expensive. Not having a good year at all, so his value might be down. Nope, can't even get him there. They're kind of interested in McCullers there. He's not having that good of a year either. Only got him for one more year, though. Sean Newcomb is... It looked like a hard no. Yeah. Julio Teheran. Mike Sirica. If I could pick up one of those guys for Duffy, I'd be kind of over the moon. But it doesn't look like it's gonna work. Nope. DeGrom, Mats. How is Mats doing this year? Mats is doing pretty good. Aaron Nola. So this is the other guy I was thinking about. Him for Duffy, that's a pretty lopsided trade in my opinion. We get a lot more. Nola's probably, it's not fair to say this year just because he's getting more attention, but the past couple years he's been very good. He's been very underrated. So I think this could be a pretty good pickup for us. I mean, we have him. Hopefully we could get him locked up. He wants to be the ace. He wants to be our guy, so I'm going to try and make this work. They want relief pitchers as well as second baseman. So I'd be willing to give them Yona. I don't think he's really going to pan out for us, to be honest with you. He just walks way too many people. And Jesse Hahn. So I'm okay with that deal right there. I'm going to see if I can give them less value. So let's see. I'd be willing to give them Neris back. Any really of these guys. They want a relief pitcher. Doesn't look like they don't want any of them. They also want a second baseman. What I would be willing to do is try and squeak Ramos away from him. But I don't know if that's going to work. Alright. Yeah, so I might go in. I think I'm going to give him Jesse Hahn. And he's basically 30 years old. He hasn't really done all that well for us. I don't know if there's any other single person that'd be willing to give me. I would like to try and squeeze another guy out if I could. Colin Moran. J.P. Crawford, maybe. Very good defensive shortstop. Jorge Orfalo. Ben Lively. 6'4". Yeah, I don't think they're going to give me another guy here. I'd really like that deal. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get another guy. Let's see. How's Reese Hoskins doing? 23 bombs. Yeah, so I'm okay with this deal right here. Giving them 3 pitchers. Really, the only one that's of value, big value to me, is Danny Duffy, but he's replaced with Nola. So I'm going to go ahead and make that deal. That's one of the perks of stocking up, just with guys with, decent potentials. Because people, they like to bite on those guys. So I'm pretty content with everything. Looks like we're down a little bit on some starters. So I'm going to go pick up some starters in free agency here. Hopefully I can get some cheaper guys. but we'll see. Some of these guys just wanted a ridiculous amount of money. So Kendall Graveman, I'm going to go ahead and pick him up. He came down. I was really kind of working on him in the off season to try and pick him up, but he wanted just way too much money for what he was really worth, to be honest with you. So we also need another relief pitcher up in AAA, so that's going to be Drew Storen. He's pitched very well for us down in AA. There he goes. He fills right in. Swap him with Torres. Now we need another relief pitcher at AA. Go ahead and throw up Pedro Fernandez. Used to be one of our closers. So he did pretty well in that role. Okay, so now, good. It looked like we need another starter. So I think Scott Barlow is probably going to go up. He's just pitched very well down in AA. Give us some more guys to possibly come up through the system, pitch at AA, AAA, whatnot. So our stuff is good. I'd like to get another starter here out of free agency, as long as he doesn't cost too much. That's my only concern. 59D 24 60. I'll take that. And of course, they sent him up to the big leagues. Designate for assignment. So let's send him down. Just try and get maybe another shortstop or move some guys around. I'm gonna go ahead and send Jack Lopez over to short. Send some guys around from third. Let's go ahead and put Drury back to second. I think that position fits him a little bit better. And possibly a guy from third to short. Adrian Rodon. We'll move the short. Okay, so now we got 2 spots available. Possibly another outfielder. Hernan Perez, maybe. Phillip Ervin. JB Shuck. Paulo Orlando, no one picked him up. Doesn't look like it, so I just might pick up just 2 more starters. And then just wait for the off season to fill all the other needs. I don't know why they send them up to the big leagues, but they do. Okay, yeah, so we're pretty much done. Go ahead and just auto fix their lineups. Nola getting some interest out of the Cubs. Nola, they want him back already. So there we go. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know how it affected us. Yeah, so we're pretty much the exact same. But, you know, I think we got some guys who, you know, will be a little bit better for us in terms of playoff push. With Nola especially, just kind of being a lights-out starter. We needed another one of those. I think McHugh, he's kind of done there and, you know, been there, done that before. He's also just a very good overall pitcher. I mean, look at his career fielding and independent pitching at a 3.4. But yeah, I mean, we got lots of guys in the minor leagues coming up through the system. Jorge Lopez, he was a big pickup in the off season. Hopefully we can keep him. He did have a lot of interest on him from other teams, so hopefully, no one scoops him up. He is a free agent to be after the season. Um, so hopefully we can keep him. But yeah, I mean, we're pretty much done. There's no other glaring needs that I want to address. Hopefully we can get, my plan was to get Rodgers up this year. He might have to wait until next year. Yep, we're kind of good. Campos making a season debut, pitched pretty well for us down the stretch last year. There you see. So if we can come up and do the same exact thing for us, this year. That's it. Let's make sure all these guys are training. Ooh, there's someone, Drew Storen, not training. Okay, we're good. Let's check out who made the All-Star game for us. No starters, no relief pitchers. Maurer made it again as a closer. Perez made it as our catcher. That's it. So, yeah. Got a couple messages. Let's check that out. Alrighty. So yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna be, work out pretty well for us. Hopefully, I'm gonna go ahead and sim to this Minnesota series right here. I do kind of enjoy playing in Minnesota, and I haven't played there in a long time, so we're just gonna have at it until then with simming. But yeah, I mean, things have worked out pretty well for us this year. I mean, there's really hasn't been any huge issues. I mean, besides the bullpen a little bit with a couple guys that I brought in, but I've been pretty happy with every other thing. Injury bug hasn't really bitten us. A lot of guys have performed better than I thought they would, which is always good. So there's a lot to be excited about heading into the back half of the season here. I think we got a couple extra guys. Yep, we do. Sorry, Pedro, but you're going to get set back down. Damn it. Willie Peralta has still pitched very well for us in the minor leagues. Just haven't really got a chance to call him up. Oh. So yeah, let's take a look at our lineups. Let's drop Almonte out, put in Nunez. Hopefully get some power out of him. We will see though. Go ahead and sim through all waivers and trade deadlines. There's only been a couple times where I can pick people up on this. I would be really interested in Cesar Hernandez. Kevin Gausman probably too. Martin Perez. I would pick him up. Let's go ahead. I'm going to drop a pitcher. Of course, it's the most expensive guy that I picked up in free agency. I'm going to put a claim on Martin Perez. Hopefully we get him. Give us some more depth. So 89. Looks like they gave us a decision. Nope, we did not get him. Shocker. Seems like I never get those guys. I think there was 1 year where I put a claim on a bunch of guys, as we're going through a huge losing streak right now. Alright, let's check things out here and what's going wrong. Some slide Almonte back in. Nunez has come out, hit a couple bombs for us. Even though Solaire's struggling, I'm still going to leave him up in the 2-hole. He just has too good of an on-base percentage.